Lucas sat alone at the edge of the alien garden, watching the purple leaves move with the soft wind. The air on Velinari was warmer than Earth's, filled with a scent that reminded him of honey and old books. His shift was over, but he stayed. This was his last night on the planet. Tomorrow, the human ship would leave for the next system. He wasn't ready to say goodbye. A gentle voice called behind him. "You always sit here." Lucas turned. It was Shah, tall and slender, with silver eyes that reflected the garden light. She walked with grace but without pride. She was different from other Velinari, quiet, thoughtful, and kind. She had been his guide when he arrived, but somewhere in between greetings and long talks, something changed. They became more than just two people from different worlds. "I like the quiet," Lucas said, smiling. "It helps me think." "Do you think of home?" she asked, sitting beside him. He shook his head. "Not as much as I thought I would. I guess I think of now. Of this place, of you." Shia's eyes lowered. Her soft fingers brushed the edge of a flower. "I will miss our talks." Lucas wanted to say more, wanted to ask her to come with him, but that wasn't allowed. Humans in Velinari had rules. Their connection was still new and fragile. Taking her would cause problems. And even if he asked, he wasn't sure she'd say yes. Instead, he reached into his pocket and pulled out a small data crystal. "This has my recordings, music, poems, and some messages. I want you to have it." She took it gently, her thumb touching his. "Thank you." They sat in silence for a while. The stars above started to shine through the garden roof. Lucas didn't want the moment to end. Then she said something he didn't expect. "Think of me tonight." He turned his head. "What?" Shia looked into his eyes, her voice barely a whisper. "Just think of me." Before he could ask what she meant, she stood and walked away, disappearing behind the trees. Lucas sat there, confused and a little sad. What did she mean? Was it a goodbye? Or something else? Later that night, back on the ship, Lucas lay in his bed, staring at the ceiling. The hum of the engines was steady. His room was small, filled with tools and a few old photos. He held the crystal she gave him. He thought of her voice, her silver eyes, the way she said those words. "Think of me tonight." He closed his eyes, and then he felt something strange. A soft pressure, like someone sitting on the edge of the bed. His eyes opened quickly. His breath caught in his chest. She was there. Shia. Real. She sat calmly, her hands folded on her lap. Her skin glowed faintly in the ship's light, but her expression was calm and sure. "Shia?" Lucas whispered. "I'm here," she said softly. How are you here?" "This is a ship in space." She reached out, touched his hand. "My people used to walk between minds. It is an old gift. It was lost, forbidden. But I remembered it. You opened the path. But that's impossible." "Only if we believe it is," she said. Lucas sat up, still stunned. He didn't know what to feel. Joy, fear, wonder. All of them came at once. Are you really here?" She smiled gently. "As real as your thoughts?" I followed them. Lucas looked around his room. The metal walls, the blinking light, the photo of his parents. Everything was the same. Yet nothing was. He wasn't alone. "You came because I thought of you?" Shia nodded. "I felt your heart. It called." Lucas blinked. "Does anyone else know?" "No, and they must not." He swallowed. This was big, beyond science. Beyond anything he'd learned in training. A connection that crossed space, built on trust and feeling. And now, the person he couldn't say goodbye to was sitting on his bed. Shia looked at him with soft eyes. "I had to see you one last time." Lucas shook his head. "Not last, not if I can help it." She smiled again, and the room seemed warmer. Outside the window, stars moved silently. The ship flew through space. But in this small room, something much greater had happened. Lucas had thought of her. Shia sat beside him, calm and quiet, her silver eyes watching the stars through the window. The room was dim, lit only by the soft glow of control panels. Lucas still couldn't believe she was real. Her touch, her voice, her presence, it was all there. "But how? You said it was an old gift." Lucas said, still trying to understand. What does that mean? Shia turned to him, her voice low and smooth. Long ago, my people could reach across space with our minds. It was rare, but those who had the bond could find each other even light years apart. Lucas sat forward, on the bed. But you didn't just talk to me, you came here. This ship is nowhere near your world. The bond was stronger than expected, she said. I didn't just feel you, I followed the pull. Your thoughts became a path, and I walked it. Lucas rubbed his face with both hands. You just appeared here like it was nothing. What if someone saw you? No one did, Shia said softly. I arrived when your room was still, I made sure. He looked at her carefully. Her skin had a soft shimmer, like moonlight on water. Her hair flowed gently down her back, and her voice had a rhythm that soothed his nerves. But there was something. In her eyes, now something worried. Is this dangerous? He asked. Shia hesitated before answering. Yes, the old ways were forgotten for a reason. When someone opens their mind too far, others might see it, not just Velinari, others. Others? Lucas asked slowly. There are species in the galaxy who feed on that connection. They search for minds that shine brightly. Lucas stood up and walked to the small screen on his desk. He tapped a few commands, checking the ship's outer sensors. Everything looked normal. No strange signals, no warnings. We're safe, he said. For now, she replied. He turned around. So you came here without telling your people? Shia nodded. I had to. I felt something strong, not just in me, but in you too. Our link was complete, and that made it possible. Lucas paced the room, thinking. Okay, so what happens? Now? Are you stuck here? I don't know, Shia said. This hasn't been done in many lifetimes. It may be that I stay. Or it may be that I fade. Lucas walked back to her and sat beside her again. I don't want you to fade. She looked down, her fingers gently touching his wrist. Neither do I. They sat in silence for a while. The ship hummed around them. Outside, stars moved, like slow rivers. It was peaceful, but Lucas felt the weight of something bigger coming. And somehow, it was tied to her. Do you feel anything strange? He asked. Shia nodded. Yes, ever since I arrived, I sense watchers, faint, but near. Lucas stood again and opened a hidden drawer under his bed. Inside was a personal scanner. He turned it on and swept it through the room. For a second, nothing happened. Then, a small blip appeared on the screen. An unknown frequency hovering. Near the ship. We've got company, Lucas whispered. Shia stood too. They're close, Lucas narrowed his eyes. And they're looking for you. The alarm didn't sound. Whatever it was, it hadn't triggered the main systems. Lucas quickly sent a private message to his friend Dan in the control room, asking him to run a deep scan but not alert the captain. Shia stepped close to him. If they find me, they'll follow. They may try to enter your thoughts too. Lucas took a deep breath. Then we don't let them. You'll need to. Protect your mind, she said. And I will help. Lucas didn't know what that meant, but he nodded. Just tell me what to do. Shia reached out and placed her hand on his forehead. At first he felt nothing. Then a warm wave flowed through him, like sunlight filling his chest. He closed his eyes, and in that moment he saw her memory's brief flashes of Velinari Gardens. Floating lights, ancient symbols, and a circle of minds joined as one. He pulled back, gasping. What was that? Our link, Shia said softly. I strengthened it. Lucas felt different, more aware. Like he could hear more than just his thoughts. Like something inside him had opened, but carefully, the screen on his desk blinked. Again, Dan had responded. You were right. Unknown signal outside starboard bay. Running silent. Lucas showed the message to Shah. They're here, she said. Lucas looked into her eyes. Then we need to find out why. And stop them before they reach you, Shia nodded. Together. Lucas grabbed a jacket and his tools. Stay hidden. I'll handle the bay. Shia touched his arm before he left. Be careful. I'll be near inside your thoughts. Lucas gave her a firm nod and left the room, but even as he walked down the silent hallways of the ship, he didn't feel alone. Shia was with him. Not just in body, but in mind. Lucas moved quickly through the narrow hallway. The lights above flickered slightly, as if the ship itself sensed something was wrong. He kept his head down and his tools close, pretending to be on a routine check. No one stopped him. No one knew that something was watching them from the dark. When he reached the starboard bay, the doors slid open with a quiet hiss. The room was cold, quiet, and empty. But Lucas knew better. He stepped inside and closed the door behind him. He pulled out his scanner. The unknown signal was still there, floating just outside the hull. It didn't match any known ship or satellite. And worse, it wasn't just floating, it was moving. Slowly circling their ship, like a predator waiting for the right moment. Lucas whispered, "Shia, can you hear me?" Her voice came gently in his mind, like wind through leaves. "Yes, I am with you." "They're still out there? Then they are waiting?" "They are testing your defenses." Lucas looked around. The outer panel of the bay wall had a manual access port. He climbed the ladder beside it and opened the maintenance cover. From there, he could directly connect to the outer sensors. He hooked in his tools and started the scan. As the data loaded, his heart sank. It wasn't one signal dot, it was 3.3 small crafts, silent, invisible to normal scans. They surrounded the ship in a slow triangle. Lucas whispered, "They're trying not to be seen." "They are Orcs," Shia replied in his mind. "They feed on mental light. They search for minds that glow like stars. They do not use words. They use silence and fear." Lucas swallowed. "Why are they after you?" "Because I broke the old rule. I linked across space. I shined too brightly, and now they see me." Lucas climbed down and shut the panel. His hands shook slightly. "We have to warn the ship." "No," Shia said gently. "They will not understand. They will think I brought danger. They will call for help, and that will bring more eyes." Lucas leaned against the wall, thinking fast. "Then we need to stop them before anyone knows. You must weaken them. Push them away before they fully link to me." Lucas frowned. "How do I fight something I can't even touch?" "Not with hands," Shia said, "with the bond." Lucas felt her presence grow stronger in his thoughts. A warmth filled his chest again. And suddenly he saw it like a vision dot in his mind. The space around the ship was dark, but 3 glowing shadows circled it, their edges sharp like knives, their movements slow and steady. Lucas gasped. "I can see them, only through me. I will guide you." He closed his eyes. In this vision space he was floating above the ship. The Orcs were close now. One of them turned its gaze toward him. It had no face, but Lucas felt its cold focus. "They know you're connected to me," Shia said. "They will try to break you first." Lucas felt pressure in his head, like hands pressing down. He gritted his teeth. "What do I do? Push back, remember me, call my name." He did. In his mind, he called out Shia. The pressure stopped. Light burst from his vision, and one of the shadows hissed and pulled back. Lucas breathed hard. It worked. Do it again. They fear the bond. It burns them. Lucas focused. He held on to the memory of Shia's eyes, her voice, her kindness. The link between them became stronger. More light. More warmth. He pushed it outward. Another shadow cried out a sound without sound, and vanished into the dark. Only one remained. This one came fast. Lucas shouted, "Shia!" The bond shook. This one was stronger, angrier. He felt cold rush into his thoughts. Like ice crawling over his skin, he saw flashes, dark places, broken minds, lost voices. This was what the Orcs left behind. Lucas clenched his fists. You don't get her. You don't get me. He thought of Shia again. And again, and again. The light exploded. The final shadow screamed. And was gone. Lucas collapsed to the floor of the bay. Breathing hard, his scanner blinked. No signals. They were gone. Shia's voice came gently. You did. It, Lucas smiled, his chest rising and falling. We did it. But they will return, she warned. We have only delayed them. Lucas stood slowly. Then next time, we'll be ready, together. He left the bay, quiet and unnoticed. But everything had changed. The bond was no longer a small thing. It was a shield, and maybe it was also a weapon. Lucas couldn't stop thinking about what happened in the bay. He had fought shadows with his mind creatures from a part of the galaxy humans didn't even understand, and he had won only because of Shia's bond. He didn't tell anyone on the crew. Not yet. Not until he knew more. When he returned to his room, Shia was waiting, sitting near the window with her hands resting on her knees. Her silver eyes met his. "They're gone," he said softly. Shia nodded. "For now." Lucas sat across from her. "You said they might return. We can't keep hiding this." "If others find out about our bond," she said, "they may take me away. They may study you. They may fear what we have." Lucas looked at the floor. "Then we need answers. Real ones." Shia thought for a moment. "There's an old place not far from here. My people left something behind. It was called the Mind Gate. It helped those who had the gift before the bond was lost." Lucas leaned forward. "Where is it?" "In a drifting station," Shia said. "A place once used by Velinari travelers. It's hidden inside the Veil Cloud, a storm field. Your ship can't go there, but a small pod could make it." Lucas stood. "Then we take a pod." Shia looked surprised. "You trust me that much?" He smiled. "You crossed the stars to find me. Now it's my turn." The next day, Lucas made an excuse to use a pod for a systems test. He told the captain it was a routine check and took Shia with him, hidden under a spare cloak in the back. Once the pod was clear of the ship, Lucas changed course and flew toward the stormy edge of the Veil Cloud. The closer they got, the darker space became. Small flashes of light cracked in the distance, like thunder trapped in fog. "Stay steady," Shia said calmly. "The cloud only tests your focus. If you fear it, you'll get lost." Lucas held the controls tight. No fear, just nerves. They entered the veil. The pod shook, lights flickering. Strange images blinked across the windshield, faces, shadows, whispers. Lucas's fingers gripped the panel, but he kept his mind on Shia. Her voice, her calmness. Then, like a curtain pulling away, the storm cleared. Floating in front of them was an ancient station, silent, round, and broken in places. It had no lights, no signs of life, but it looked like it had been waiting. "That's it?" Lucas asked. Shia nodded. "The Mind Gate." They docked with the station and stepped inside. It was dark. Dust floated like tiny stars in the air. Strange symbols covered the walls, some glowing faintly. Shia walked ahead, her fingers touching the markings. "This place holds memories," she said. "It will show us what we need." They reached a round chamber at the center. At its heart was a platform, floating slightly above the floor. It pulsed with soft light. "What is it?" Lucas asked. "Stand on it with me," Shia said. Together, they stepped onto the platform. The moment they did, a wave of warmth passed over them, light wrapped around them, and the room vanished. Suddenly, Lucas was standing in a new place. A wide field under a golden sky. He turned and saw Shia beside him, but younger, wearing different clothes. Around them stood many Velinari, eyes closed, standing in a circle. "This is the past," Shia said. "This is what the gate remembers." Lucas watched as the Velinari sent beams of light between their minds, strong, clear, peaceful. Then the sky above them cracked. Dark shapes appeared. The Korax. They dove from the sky, feeding on the light, turning it to shadows. The circle broke, minds shattered. The bond was lost, the vision faded. They were back on the platform. Lucas breathed out. "They ruined everything," Shia nodded. "So our people locked the Mind Gate. They stopped using the bond. They believed it was too dangerous." Lucas shook his head. "But we didn't get hurt. We fought them off." "Because we trusted each other," Shia said. "Because our bond was made not with fear but with care." Lucas looked at the glowing floor. "So what do we do now?" Shia stepped close. "The gate can give us more. It can help us grow the bond. Make it stronger, so next time we won't have to run." Lucas hesitated. "Is it safe?" "Only if you truly trust me," she said. He didn't even need to think. "I do." She held out her hand. He took it. The gate glowed brighter. And the bond grew deeper. Lucas and Shia stood on the glowing platform as the mind gate's light wrapped around them like a soft blanket. The ancient station hummed quietly, its power slowly awakening after many years of silence. Lucas felt a strange warmth spread through his chest, as if the bond between him and Shia was growing stronger by the second. "This feels different," Lucas said, his voice soft. Shia smiled gently. "The gate is helping us. It shares the strength of the past with us so we can fight the darkness coming." Lucas closed his eyes. Suddenly, his mind filled with visions of Velinari warriors standing united, their minds linked, protected by a radiant shield of light. He saw battles fought not with weapons but with courage and trust. The Korax shadows tried to break the bonds, but the warriors' minds shone too brightly. Opening his eyes, Lucas looked at Shia. "We need to be like them, stronger, united." Shia nodded. "The bond is not just between us. It can grow to protect others. But first we must master it." The light around them pulsed, and Lucas felt his thoughts clearer, sharper. He could hear Shia's voice inside his mind, not just words, but feelings, memories, and hopes. He reached out, and their hands found each other. "This is more than I ever dreamed," Lucas whispered. "It is ancient, but new," Shia said. "We have a chance to bring it back." Back on the ship, things were not calm. The Korax had returned. Early the next day, the ship's alarms blared. Lucas ran to the control room, where the captain and crew were already preparing for battle. Outside the viewports, 3 dark shapes moved fast, weaving between stars like hunters. "Those are the same ships from before," Lucas told the captain. "And they're coming for us." The captain nodded. "All hands, prepare for defense. Lucas, stay close to Shia. We don't know what they want." Lucas found Shia waiting in his quarters. She looked calm, but her eyes held a quiet fear. "This will be hard," she said. "But we are ready." Lucas took her hand. "We face it together." The Korax ships attacked with silent precision. Their weapons did not fire energy blasts or missiles. Instead, they released waves of mental energy, dark pulses designed to break minds. The crew fought to keep their systems online while Lucas and Shia worked on their bond. Inside the Mind Gate's training chamber, they practiced focusing their minds together, creating shields of light to block the dark waves. "Hold my thoughts," Shia said, reaching out. Lucas closed his eyes, feeling her mind join his. Together they formed a glowing shield, bright and strong. The dark pulses hit the shield but could not break through. "We're holding," Lucas said, opening his eyes. "But it will get stronger," Shia warned. "We must be stronger." Outside, the Korax ship circled, waiting for an opening. Lucas could feel their cold hunger reaching for him and Shia, searching for cracks in their bond. "We need a plan," Lucas said. Shia looked thoughtful. "If we can trap them in a space rift, we can send them far away, but it will require great power and great risk." Lucas frowned. "Risk? It could tear the bond," Shia said quietly, "or worse." Lucas took a deep breath. "Then we have to try." With the captain's permission, Lucas and Shia prepared the ship's energy core to create the rift. The crew worked quickly, but tension filled the air. The Korax ship sensed the change and attacked fiercely. Lucas stood by Shia, their minds connected and steady. As the energy built, he felt the bond stretch and strain, but Shia's presence calmed him. "We are one," she said softly. The rift opened, a swirling tear in space, glowing with light and shadow. The Korax ships tried to escape, but Lucas and Shia's combined mental power pushed them toward the rift, one by one. The dark ships were pulled inside and vanished. Then the rift began to close. Shia looked weak. "I can't hold much longer," Lucas caught her as she collapsed. "You saved us," she smiled faintly. "We saved each other." After the battle, the ship was damaged but safe. Lucas stayed by Shia's side as she recovered. The bond between them had changed, deeper, stronger, and unbreakable. "The Korax will come again," she said one evening, "but we have shown them strength they did not expect." Lucas nodded. "And we will be ready." She reached for his hand. "Think of me tonight." Lucas smiled, remembering the first time. Always. They looked out at the stars. Knowing their bond was more than a connection, it was hope for their future. Lucas sat quietly beside Shia as the ship hummed softly around them. She was still weak from the battle, her breathing slow and steady. The bond between them was strong now, but Lucas could see the cost it had taken on her. "Will you be okay?" he asked gently. Shia opened her silver eyes and smiled faintly. "I will recover. The bond gave me strength, but it also used much of my energy." Lucas nodded. "We saved the ship. We saved the crew." She reached out and touched his hand. "And we saved each other." The days passed slowly. Lucas stayed by her side, learning more about the bond they shared. It was more than a connection. It was a deep understanding that reached beyond words. Sometimes they could feel each other's thoughts, emotions, and even dreams. One night, Lucas woke to find Shia watching the stars through the window. "Can't sleep?" he whispered. She shook her head. "There's peace in the stars, but my mind is restless." Lucas sat beside her. "I understand." She smiled softly. "You are different from others. Your mind is open." He looked at her with quiet hope. "Because of you." Shia took a deep breath. "There is something I must tell you." Lucas waited. "My people have sent a message," she said. "They have learned of the bond. They want to meet you." Lucas's heart quickened. "They want to see me?" "Yes, they are curious and cautious." Lucas thought for a moment. "Will they accept me?" Shia reached out and squeezed his hand. "They will judge you by your heart, not your race." The day of the meeting came. Lucas stood in the grand hall of the Velinari ship, surrounded by tall beings with glowing eyes. Shia stood beside him, calm and proud. The leader stepped forward, a wise elder with soft silver hair. He looked at Lucas carefully. "You have brought back the bond," the elder said. "A gift lost for centuries." Lucas bowed his head. "I only did what was needed," the elder smiled. "You have shown courage and trust. These are the true strengths of our people." Shia stepped forward. "The bond is stronger now. Together we can protect our worlds." The elder nodded. "Then let this be a new beginning." Back on the human ship, Lucas and Shia prepared to leave Velinari space. Their bond had grown beyond what either imagined. It was a promise of peace and unity between two worlds. As the ship's engines roared to life, Lucas looked at Shia and smiled. "Think of me tonight," she said quietly. "Always," he replied, and as the stars stretched before them, Lucas knew they were no longer alone. The bond would carry them beyond distance, beyond fear. They were united mind, heart, and soul. The ship floated gently through the endless stars, carrying Lucas and Shia far from Velinari space. The bond between them was no longer just a secret. They shared their connection openly now, a symbol of hope for both their peoples. Lucas stood on the observation deck, watching the stars shine bright. Shia came beside him, her silver eyes reflecting the light. She smiled softly. "The galaxy is wide," she said, "but no longer empty for us." Lucas nodded. "Our bond will guide us." They spoke little, but the silence was full of meaning. In their minds, thoughts and feelings passed freely, deeper than words could reach. Suddenly the ship's comm system beeped. The captain's voice came through the speakers. "Crew, prepare for first contact. We are approaching Earth Space Station." Lucas's heart beat faster. Soon they would return home. But things had changed. Lucas was no longer just a human engineer. He carried the light of the bond, a link between worlds. As the ship docked, officials from Earth and Velinari gathered to greet them. Cameras flashed, reporters asked questions. Lucas and Shia stood together, calm and united. A diplomat from Earth stepped forward, shaking Lucas's hand. "Your journey has changed everything." Lucas smiled. "It was not just my journey, it was ours." Shia nodded, her eyes shining. "This bond shows that trust can cross any distance." In the weeks that followed, Lucas and Shia helped build new friendships between Earth and Velinari. Their story inspired others to open their minds and hearts. Sometimes, Lucas thought back to that first night, the night she said, "Think of me tonight," and appeared in his bed. It seemed like a dream, but it was real. A real bond, a real beginning. One evening, as Lucas and Shia watched the sunset from the space station's balcony, she leaned her head on his shoulder. "Think of me tonight," she whispered again. Lucas smiled and held her hand. "Always." And in that quiet moment, beneath the endless stars, they knew their bond would never fade, because some connections are made not just in the mind, but in the heart, and that is where they live forever.